Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show being brought to you on both Facebook and YouTube. Week 9 currently underway. We got the helmet selections for tomorrow all lined up and ready to go, 30 in all. And a quick reminder, really quick here, in this regard, W&J is at home tomorrow against Case Western Reserve with a kickoff at 6 o'clock, and I am listing myself as questionable for the game. There won't be a broadcast from there because it's in prime time. Well, we really haven't worked out anything in the way of a plan for such a primetime game. But even more so in the grand scheme of things, rain is in the forecast, and that's not good. So the only good thing about it is that there will be picks made in the morning, as always, when we get down to the business of the lanyard selections, with the exceptions of the two big ones on the FCS side. I'm going to give you a thorough explanation as to why. I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked at my box of FCS lanyards and come to find that out of the 4 teams that are playing this weekend that are in the top 10, that would be South Dakota State, South Dakota, Montana State, and Idaho. The only one I have is Montana State. And the funny thing about it, these games, as you might expect, are not televised unless you have ESPNU, which I don't have. So, even though they're big ones, they will be treated as helmet selections, but we will honor them in the lanyard selections episode tomorrow morning. They are huge, huge games. South Dakota State's looking for its 20th straight win in a row, going up against their in-state rivals. It's 1 versus 9. And then you have Montana State and Idaho, a game in which I thought I was picking 2 weeks ago. Montana State, number 2 in the country, fresh off of its impressive road win over number 5 Sacramento State. And now they got to go to the Kibbe Dome in Idaho to take on, and that's Moscow, Idaho, by the way. Going up to the Kibbe Dome in Moscow to take on the Vandals of number 8 Idaho. It's a big weekend for the FCS, and we'll get to those picks, of course, as we will with the rest of the lanyard selections tomorrow. Without further dudes, let's get on with it. It's time for your Week 9 helmet selections, and we begin with 1-7 UMass against 2-5 Army. Well, somebody's got to win. I'm going to ride with the Black Knights of West Point, taking Army. Hold it up a little more closer there, B. There you go. Taking Army over UMass. Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan. 2 schools in the state of Michigan that haven't been accused of anything. Just had to do it. Sorry. Western Michigan 2-6 on the season. Eastern Michigan 4-4. And if there was a time for Eastern Michigan to step up its game as we enter the final month of the regular season, it's now. They've gone to bowl games for 3 straight years. It's high time that they get it in gear and try and win one at home on the gray turf. And if you're watching the game, don't adjust your televisions. That's really a gray turf up there at Eastern Michigan. Albany at 5-3. Yes, it's Albany. Ries Poffenbarger. And the Albany Great Danes, who are 5-3 this year, taking on the 2-6 Black Bears of Maine. Gotta go with Poffenbarger and the Great Danes. I almost said Greyhounds again. Albany last week did they beat Rhode Island? Did they not? No, they didn't. I picked Rhode Island. No, I don't remember what the heck happened. Albany played Rhode Island. And I picked Rhode Island and Albany beat them. That's what happened. Okay, there you go. Well, we can forget all our troubles about why New Hampshire is in the top 25. They have won their last couple ball games, and now they get to play Rhode Island, oddly enough. Rhode Island 4-4. Yes, indeed, we are off on the road to Rhode Island. New Hampshire 4-3, and they're somewhere in the top 25. We're willing to bet they're down it. But we're going to go with New Hampshire on this one, as they continue to try to prove me wrong. And if they do, they will win. If not, then once again, I'll have to question as to why every time I pick Rhode Island, they lose, and when I pick against them, they win. And you thought the MAC was trouble. Anyway, 6-1 Tennessee Martin visiting number 3-4 Gardner-Webb. And I got the wrong helmet here. There we go. We're riding with the Auburn Tiger lookalikes. Tennessee Martin about to put forth another win in the win column and better their chances for the FCS playoffs. One team that probably won't make it. Oh, who am I kidding? They won't make it, period. Indiana State 0-7 against North Dakota at 4-3. Make it 5-3. And then another one on the board. We have 0-7 Stony Brook visiting 5-2 Villanova. It's Nova. Going through things quick and painless. Here we go. We must press on. We forgot about this one. Delaware and Towson. Delaware at 6-1. The Blue Hens trying to... I was going to mention something about the witness protection program. But we got the wrong helmet for that. Taking Delaware over Towson on the road. Towson, by the way, at 3-4. But they've been in a lot of ball games this year. Towson has. That much I do know. Memphis at 5-2 with a shot at a bowl bid. Visiting North Texas. Memphis, it's go time. Take care of business. Prove me right. And you will have your name on the bowl-bound T-shirts. Brought to you by the bowl season folks. Another 0-7 team, the Citadel Bulldogs, visiting the Samford Bulldogs. Somebody's dog is ugly. Sorry, Citadel. Taking Samford. Samford, incidentally, at 4-4 in the postseason a year ago. They're kind of on the bubble right now as far as making the postseason's concerned. Moving back to the Sun Belt Conference, the 1-6 Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi taking on Appalachian State, who are below the Mendoza line right now at 3-4. Appalachian State, get it together, will you please? Going towards the Mid-American Conference and another big matchup of two 6-2 teams. Brett Gabbert and the Miami of Ohio, who lost to Toledo last week, now have to go to Athens to take on the Ohio Bobcats. Well, last week I broke the whites out for Ohio. This week we go green, and green means go. Taking Ohio. Iowa State, who was left for dead just weeks ago, are now 4-3, and they're visiting Baylor, who, like Iowa State, is kind of in that same ballpark. A lot of these games, 4-3 teams, 4-4 teams, 3-4 teams, I call them crossroads games, mainly because to the loser of those games, they're going to have to work extra hard to try to put themselves in the position by the end of the year to go to a bowl, or at least get a chance to win and go to a bowl. Iowa State is on the road. I got to ride with the Cyclones in that one. East Carolina, one of the disappointments of this year at 1-6, a loss to Texas San Antonio. UTSA will pretty much end it for the Pirates' run. Going with the Roadrunners. Sorry, ECU. Better luck next year. North Dakota State hosting 2-5. Murray State, North Dakota State 5-2. And one of my wonderful friends, Cheryl Davis, who follows the Bison, had told me that a lot of the reason why most people look at this as a down year was that a lot of guys went through the portal. I should have known that. But North Dakota State is still very much in the talk of the FCS playoffs. The record may say 5-2, but when you need wins and you need to get on a run, and you got a team like Murray State coming to your house, you better protect it. Taking the Bison over the Racers. Speaking of the FCS, it is my honor and privilege to mention the 20th ranked Austin P Governors at 5-2, taking on 3-5 North Alabama. And it is my honor and privilege to present to you this work of art that my main man, Mr. Kevin Martin, cooked up. And if Austin P ends up making the playoffs, we might have them on the helmet tree this year. Heck, they're already going to be part of the whiteout. So we're going to take Austin P to make their record go 6-2 and improve on their ranking in the FCS. Let's go, P! Yeah, now! Do it! Meanwhile, 3-4 Arkansas State at 2-5 Louisiana Monroe. Let's go, Ark State. Ark State. I have nothing for that matchup. I really don't. Tricky one here in the Sun Belt. 4-3 Louisiana and 4-3 South Alabama. And for those of you who like to speak initially, that's Spama. Subama. Or S-Bam. Could go either way. S-Bama. I don't know. This is such a tricky matchup. Both of these teams are going to be fighting it out. And I'm almost afraid to think that one of them is going to be left out of the party. I don't know the schedules, but just as the case is in just about every conference, you know, and I said it before last week, it's dog eat dog. While Louisiana beat Appalachian State, it's time for Louisiana to drop one. Go Jags. Marshall at Coastal Carolina. Same deal. Coastal Carolina beat Appalachian State. Marshall, I believe, did they lose to Louisiana or did they beat them? Or did Appalachian State beat Marshall? Coastal beat App State. So now I'm picking Marshall on the road to beat Coastal. I tiptoed through the minefield. I don't know how I came out on the other side of it, but that's a tough one there. I'll tell you what else is tough. Here is one of two matchups this weekend where one team will have to wait a week for bowl eligibility while the winner will gain it. 5-2 Troy, 5-2 Texas State. And I'll tell you something. Under normal circumstances, I'd go with Troy, but I am going to go with the Texas State Bobcats. It's high time that the Bobcats get their due. If Georgia State's in a bowl, so can Texas State. And besides, how many more Georgia teams and Texas teams are we going to have bowling this year? Meanwhile, Air Force at 7-0, taking on Colorado State. It's ground and pound time. Going with the Falcons. No explanation needed. It's ground force for Air Force all the way. Ole Miss at 6-1 against 2-6 Vandy. Come on, give me something I can use. Ole Miss. James Madison, 7-0. And oh, by the way, New Mexico State, which won the other night, they will not be bowling, not yet. And here's why. Because of the fact that they are playing a 13-game schedule, they would have to win one more game to clinch a spot in the Bowl Bonanza. So New Mexico State, which won 4 straight games, including their victory the other night. Can't remember who it was against now, because we're not going to turn around and use the display as a cheat sheet. Okay, I am. Against Louisiana Tech. Okay. So James Madison, of course, different set of circumstances, which are absolutely ridiculous. But they're hosting 4-3 Old Dominion, and as much as I would like to break out those sharp blue helmets that Kevin cooked up, I gotta go with the Dukes. We gotta wake the NCAA up. Put them in a bowl game, damn it. Meanwhile, 4-3 Washington State against against 1-6 Arizona State. Arizona State has been tough, but unfortunately the wins have not come, and this won't be any different. Washington State should win this one. Moving right along, New Mexico at 3-4 against a Nevada team that won its first game of the season, beating San Diego State 6-0, and they're 1-6. Lobos win. Come on. Let's build something here. Taking New Mexico over Nevada. San Jose State against Hawaii. That's a 3-5 against a 2-6. Did I really pick Hawaii out? I guess I did. I'm going to go with Hawaii. I initially was going to consider San Jose State, and then before I even got on the air, I had all the helmets lined up, and I thought, okay, we're ready to go. And I grabbed Hawaii. Just, I don't know, it's ill-advised maybe. I really don't know, but that's who we're going with. If I lose, I lose. Hey, I won 400 wins. I got 400 wins in the pocket already, so. At this point, you can take a loss wherever you can. Let's put it that way. Moving back to the FCS, we got 4-3 Holy Cross and 5-2 Fordham. Fordham is going to need some wins and some help. And I say that in part because I don't know where they are, but they're not in the top 25. At least I don't think they are. A win here can solidify things for the Fordham Rams. So we're going to go with Fordham. Tulsa at SMU. Tulsa at 3-4. SMU at 5-2 with a shot at a bowl bid. Something of which I never would have considered, even thinking about. Considering that when Tanner Mordecai went through the portal and ends up starting at the University of Wisconsin, I honestly did not think it was going to be a good year for SMU, and I was kind of right early on, but the Mustangs have bounced back, and this time we are riding the Pony Express to a bowl game, taking the Stangs over the Cane. That now brings us to our final 2 matchups. We have Mississippi State at 4-3 against 3-4 Auburn. Mr. Freeze, the ball's in your court. You better make it count. Gonna go with Auburn at home. And last but not least, we have 6-2 USC at 3-4 Cal. Oh, this is rich. What did I say about 400 wins? You can afford a loss here or there. If I'm Cal, I pick apart USC at every chance. And if you do, you might just get a win. I'm counting on it. I am picking Cal to beat USC while they're down, damn it. And with that, we will close the book. If I could just press play. There we go. We got her in over 20 minutes. Coming up tomorrow, the big ones, Duke and Louisville, Oregon and Utah on the FBS side, and South Dakota State and South Dakota, plus Montana State and Idaho on the FCS side, and all the Lanyard selections tomorrow morning on the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show. For now, BR signing off. Good night, everybody.